And just like that, Patriots Minicamp is in the books. 3 days come and gone. Who stood out? I'm Alex Barth. He is Evan Lazar. This is the Foxboro Report, powered by betonline.ag. Visit clnsmedia.com/win today and use the promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back.
Alex, you can still bet on Zdeno Chara playing in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. You can also still bet on the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
We will, but let's get to minicamp right now. Who popped for you throughout these 3 days?
Well, we talked a lot about the wide receivers. I think Maurice Harris, Braxton Berrios. Give you Duke Dawson, who I thought had a pretty good week here. I think that he's starting to get more comfortable in that role in the slot, playing primarily as a slot corner. He had a few pass breakups, had a nice one again today. He really held up pretty well, and I think that he's out here to prove that he's not just another second-round bust in the defensive backs of the Patriots. And I understand that last year he obviously was IR'd with that hamstring injury. And I think a lot of people wrote him off as kind of the next Jordan Richards or the next Cyrus Jones. I think this guy's out to prove something here this week and, beyond that he is not one of those guys. And he had a strong week this week.
And I mean, just on a bigger picture, going beyond Dawson, we're kind of waiting for one of these defensive backs to either step above or step out. It's such a tight competition with so many bodies. You return everybody from last year, which was a deep group, and then you add the second-round pick, Juwan Williams. And I don't know that anybody necessarily fell behind that group. We're still sitting here on Thursday where we were on Tuesday. Who's going to be the odd man out at the cornerback position?
Yeah, I think that it's really going to be a difficult battle, and you kind of look at those top three guys. You don't want to look too much into depth charts right now in June, but it was still Stephon Gilmore, Jason McCourty, and Jonathan Jones as the top three corners in most of the drills that we saw this week. And then J.C. Jackson, Duke Dawson, and Juwan Williams were that second wave. It's an impressive group. I mean, a lot of those guys in that second wave could start on other teams and might be on the outside looking in here in New England. So that's a good problem to have, and I think that there could be a trade still that comes down the road here. Maybe they add another position with a trade out of the cornerback spot for a guy maybe like a Jonathan Jones who's on the last year of his deal, or maybe they sell high on one of these young guys.
Who, if anybody, had a rough week?
I think Juwan Williams actually had a little bit of a rough week. I think that right now
Way
for
to
a
just
lot,
make me look bad there after saying he was good.
I think a lot of the rookies I think their heads are spinning a little bit right now for a lot of these guys. And it's the third day out here, and I think it starts to kind of snowball on you a little bit like, man, this is going to be very involved, which I think everybody knows, but until you really get out here, you don't really see that. I think N'Keal Harry is still a little bit tentative and still learning the ropes and taking some hard coaching, certainly. Juwan Williams, Chase Winovich, I think all those guys, Stidham, certainly all in that category of, this is a very big learning curve coming up for these guys, and these last 3 days were 100% a learning period.
All right, what questions do you still have left now with minicamp done as we look ahead towards one more OTA practice on Monday and then training camp?
I think it's really still who out of the pass catchers is going to emerge behind Julian Edelman.
Okay.
We know that Julian Edelman's going to be there. We know he's going to be reliable. I think if we want to extend it to the running backs, we know that James White and Rex Burkhead are probably going to be options for the Patriots out of the backfield. But other than that, I wouldn't say that anybody besides Berrios and Maurice Harris, who I think are more competing for roster spots than shining to be Pro Bowl receivers or anything like that. Outside of those guys, it really was a kind of a dull week for a lot of guys in that second-tier group, and especially guys like Dontrell Inman, who really just didn't do anything out here this week. Just kind of was running around and was kind of just there. So I think that that's still the main question. Obviously, Joe Thuney playing left tackle is certainly going to be something that's going to pick up steam as the summer goes on if Isaiah Wynn doesn't get out there. But I still think it is who is going to emerge as those secondary pass catchers behind Julian Edelman.
All right, if you think we missed any observations, let us know in the comments down below or on Twitter at Patriots CLNS. This edition of the Foxboro Report is powered by betonline.ag. Visit clnsmedia.com/win today and use the promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back.